Hey beauties, it's Riri. If you're new here, I'm an over 40 lover of all things beauty, and I really love showcasing indie brands here on my channel. If that sounds like your cup of tea, please consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up. If you want to stick around and see more of me, then turn on your notification bell so you'll never miss an upload. We're diving right in. We are playing with a full face of brand new makeup. Some of it has gone quite viral, and I'm really excited to test out a bunch of stuff. We have the Pat McGrath Labs Holiday Palette. We have the brand new NYX Fat Lip Oil. I don't really like the name of it, but I digress. Essence has a brand new priming eyeshadow base. These are not super new, but I have not tried the new shades yet, but this is a mini of the Benefit Cosmetics Terra blush. I'm going to be testing out the Westman Atelier Petite Face Trace Contour Stick. I did try this in a sample in the past and I was obsessed. Hopefully I still love it just as much. We have this amazing Sephora Favorites little lip kit that I want to test out some of. We have the Kaja Jelly Charm Lip and Blush Keychain Stain. We're testing out the Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage Foundation. And I'm always late to the party, but hey, we're testing it out. We're going to test out the new Tarte Tartlette Tubing Mascara as well. So tons of goodies. We're going to jump in. I first want to test out the lip oil because who wants to film with dry, crusty lips? Okay. This is the NYX Fat Oil Lip Drip. I did get the shade Follow Back, which is more of like a kind of orangey nudie shade with some glitters in it. So I'm going to test this first. I'm not going to be able to tell y'all how stuff smells because my sniffer still broke after having COVID. I love the applicator. I love a really big fat applicator. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. This really reminds me of the Fab lip oil that I'm obsessed with, where it has a little bit of thickness to it, like a little bit of grip to it. You can feel it on the lips, but it's not sticky or tacky. It's not too much, and I wear that overnight. Not sticky at all. I do love the little flush of color. Ooh. And I can see a little bit of shimmer, but I don't feel any glitters on the lips. Next up, I'm going to prime my lids. We're going to test out the new Essence Prime Like a Boss eyeshadow base. And it does just say Universal. It is in a little squeezy tube. And it is white, but pretty sheer. There's no color at all. I blended it out on my hand. It does feel quite slippy and silicone-y, which is not my preferred base, but that's okay. We're going to test it out. If you are somebody that likes an eyeshadow primer solely to kind of cover any like blueness, veining, sallowness, things like that, this is obviously not for you. Okay, it feels very slippy, very silicone-y in my opinion. Very, very light though. And already on this side, it's already starting to set down, and it almost feels powdery, like baby powder-esque. I like that. I like the texture of it. Let's see how it performs. That's what's most important. Next, we're going to dive into the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Mega Celestial Nervana palette. I like that she does these particular palettes, although I will say that the couple that I've tried from like her holiday collections like these have not been, in my opinion, up to par with kind of her standard everyday palettes. I don't know if that's a me thing or what. So as you can see, I have not even swatched it yet. Here is our color story. I definitely like this one better color story wise than the one from last year. So I'm going to go in, I think, since we're bubbly and colorful and all that stuff today, I think I'm going to play in like the pinky purpley blue realm. So I'm going to go right here in this pink shade first. So I'm going to go in first. Okay, that pink is way deeper on the lids than what I anticipated it being. But the palette that I tried last year from the holiday collection, these are like $80-ish as opposed to her traditional like $100 and something palettes. I just felt like it wasn't the same. In my opinion, it just didn't feel the same. I'm going to go into this purple right here. And with my first impression, especially with eyeshadows, I'm not trying to create like the most outstanding, whoa, oh my gosh, this is so amazing type of look. I am only looking for quality. I am looking for, does it lay down well? Do the mattes blend well together? Does anything become patchy or anything like that? Is anything looking muddy, or do they blend well and transition well together? So that's what I'm looking for. So far, so good. I think I'm going to go into the navy shade down here. And because this is an older palette, I am not going to swatch it for you guys. If you guys want to see swatches, maybe I can just do like a quick shorts or something like that for you. But I really am trying with first impression videos to not be here for 3 years. But y'all know what I say. If we're here for too long, honey, grab your tacos and your tequila, your milk and your cookies, your Doritos, your Cheetos, your Fritos, whatever is your pleasure, and sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Thus far, I'm going to tell you, based on just these 3 mattes and the way that they're blending well together into one another and creating that gradient that I'm looking for, this seems much better, in my opinion, than the one that I tried from last holiday season. So I'm actually really excited about this. The colors have been pretty true to pan color. I'm going to go back into each shade and just kind of reinforce each shade. I feel like that primer's working pretty well too. I feel like everything's kind of adhering and sticking pretty well, but it doesn't feel sticky like to the touch or anything. It feels quite soft, like it dried down more of like a powdery type of texture. That's the only way I can kind of describe it, but it feels really soft. I like that. I'm going to grab some NYX glitter glue and then we'll pick a metallic shade to use. I'm going in with a flat brush. I don't always use the glitter glue. I kind of honestly prefer to just use my fingers when I'm working with metallic or shimmer shades. But I am going to go in with the glitter glue. Trying to keep it pretty low. I don't really want to lose all the colors that I've put down. And then I think, I'm going to go into this beautiful pinky shade right here. That one I will swatch for y'all. Okay, so there's that shade. Yeah, these to me seem different. Whoa, yes. These are way different in my opinion than the other one that I tried like this. Like trying that one in comparison to kind of her standard palettes, I was like, I don't know about this. Now this may not look good when I want to go into this light blue shade right here. This one feels slightly more firm, like a little bit more like dry in texture and a little bit more translucent, which actually may work to our benefit. Yes, okay, that did exactly what I was hoping it would do. Okay, you know what? I'm not mad at it. I'm far more impressed this time than I was previously. I'm going in with just a regular applicator, sponge tip applicator. All right, I'm gonna do this eye off of camera. We'll come back, we'll play with some more products, we'll finish up our lash line. I'll BRB. All right, beauties, we are back. I didn't have a new brow product, so I just went in with my Hourglass Brow Pencil and my Kosas Clear Brow Gel. So far, I like this. I did get quite a bit of fallout on my face. That doesn't bother me, just cleaned it up. Next up, very excited about this, is the Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage Foundation. It has a broad spectrum SPF of 15, which, if you know, you know, that's definitely not enough SPF, but I wanted to try it out. Just the name Cloud got me. And I did get the shade 22N Light Neutral. It is in a little squeezy tube, and I always go from the back of my hand. It has a very kind of whipped light texture to it, which I think I'm going to enjoy. I always do half of the complexion first, and then we get up close and personal so we can really see what it's doing. I have moisturized my skin, and I have my Stila One Step Correct on, so I'm not quite as red as I usually am, just to note that. I'm going in with this little Farrah brush 820F. And the way that I like to do my foundation, just so that I don't overuse product, is to kind of pounce from the back of my hand. I always start in this kind of general area because that's where I have a lot of the redness, you know, discoloration, acne scarring, things like that. And my preference is to push and stamp the product into place first. And then I'll really lightly start to feather it out to the perimeter of my complexion. So far, I'm definitely seeing light coverage, which that is plenty from me, but I feel like I'm using a lot of product, so let me get a little bit more on the back of my hand. It feels quite light. I don't actually feel like I have anything on the complexion at all. I'm going to add another just small little layer here. And then with whatever else is left on my brush, I'll go up to the forehead. I don't like to use a lot of product there. We don't need it. I try not to use product where I don't actually need it at. And I'm always really cautious about my smile lines and my little nose crevices because I do have dry, textured, mature skin. So I try to be really cautious of that. I'm really cautious about the amount of product that I use. I feel like we kind of live in an era of overusage of product. Okay, I literally do not feel this on the complexion at all. It feels really, really light. It has some kind of dewiness to it, some moisture to it, so let's let that sit down for just a second. We'll see what happens as we progress through the video. So let's get up close and personal. You can see on this side, even with the Stila, which it takes it down a lot for me and gives me a lot of blurring aspect to my skin, you can see a lot of broken capillaries. You see broken capillaries, redness, uneven skin tone. So this is enough that it really took everything down. It blurs everything, but I can still see some little age spots. I see my skin kind of peeking through. I don't mind that. And it's drying down a little bit more matte than I anticipated, but I still can see a little bit of like luminous quality. So I think even if you have oily skin, you probably would really like this. Yeah, I feel like that's enough coverage. I feel like that looks really, really beautiful. Okay, let's do the other side quickly. All right, we are back. I really like this. I like that I have a beautiful kind of blurring and softening to the skin. It's enough coverage for me, and it feels like I'm wearing nothing. So far, so good. Next up, we're going to go into the Westman Atelier Petite Face Trace Contour Stick. It is in the shade Biscuit. Like I said, I did have a sample of this, and when I saw this, I was like, oh, I have to have it because that sample, y'all, I really loved it. The packaging, even though it is small, it is quite beautiful, and it actually feels really heavy. There is our shade. So when I contour, I try to stay kind of high, and of course you blend upwards. And contour, unlike bronzer, you want it to be cool tone, because the purpose is to add shade, because we're aiming to create, you know, shape and shade and definition. So I'm going in with this little angled brush. I'm kind of pressing it in and then kind of walking my brush upward. I found that this blended out really, really well. It's a true cool tone contour shade. It's not warm. Okay, warmth is bronzer. You know, bringing in dimension can also be bronzer. But if you're aiming to kind of shape and add a shade or shadow, then it's always going to be cool tone. And I feel like this is it's a beautiful, beautiful formula in my opinion. It's quite soft. It almost feels kind of like velvet-like on the skin. It blends out incredibly well. I didn't, you know, feel like it got patchy or anything like that when I tried that little sample. And it's not one, I mean, as you can see, this sat here for, you know, a little bit. It does not like stick in place. It doesn't become patchy or muddy or anything like that. And I keep it pretty far up and then also pretty close to the hairline. That way I'm not left with like a weird contour helmet looking thing. All right. Definitely sculpted me out some. I feel like I went a little too low here. And if you ever do go a little bit low, just grab your powder, your pressed powder, your loose powder, whatever the case may be. I'm going to go in with just a sponge, and I'm going to go right under where I just did that contour at. I'm going to blend out from underneath the lip, and the purpose of the contour here is it gives a little bit of shadow right under the lip, and then makes the lip appear a little bit more juicy and voluminous. Yeah, I like it. I know I would, and I love that it's a true cool tone, actual, you know, contour. Contour is always cool tone. I don't know why people use bronzer and say that they're contouring, because you're not. Anyways, next up, I'm going to go into the brand new Kaja. This is the Lip and Blush Glazed Keychain Stain. I got the shade Peach Fizz. Now, did I need this? No. But was it cute as hell? Yes. So, the little keychain goes on here. I'm obviously probably not going to use that, but I loved this kind of burnt, like rusty peachy shade. I thought it was stunning. I'm gonna use this on my cheeks because I do want to try the Sephora lip kit. So let's put a little bit on our cheeks. It does have a doe foot applicator. It says easy to carry, customizing lip and blush stain. And that is basically all that it says. Use a doe foot applicator to swipe onto lips or dot and blend on your cheeks. Okay, I will swatch it for you real quick. It's feeling kind of sticky, and I don't like that, especially if I'm using it for a cheek product, but even for like my lip products. Like if this lip oil would have been a little bit more sticky, it would be a no from me. So I am actually going to work from the back of my hand because I don't really know how much to use. I'm going to go into a brush. If we don't feel like we're getting enough pigment with the brush, then I'll try with my fingers. I feel like I'm getting a little something something on the brush. Oh, yeah, okay. Hopefully that sticky feeling just kind of equates to a little bit of a dew on the skin. I'm going to go straight onto the skin. Sometimes I get really scared about this kind of stuff because it can pull a product underneath. Okay, that is really pretty. I may have to set it down. You guys know I don't use a whole lot of powder, but it does have a slight tack to it. I do not like that. I do not want my skin to feel sticky at all. Dewy, glowy, great. Sticky, tacky, no. Just like I'm not a fan of glitter on my face, like glitter in products. It's a no from me. And I really liked the concept of this, kind of like the little Ilia one that I have, where if I'm just going like no makeup, but I want a little something, I can put this on the lips, on the cheeks, and instantly you have a beautiful, cohesive, like monochromatic look. So that's what I was aiming for with this. I love the shade. This is stunning. It looks beautiful on the skin. It hasn't pulled up any product underneath. Ooh, I really love like how the foundation's set down just slightly more matte than I like, which that's fine, especially moving into warmer months when it's hot as Hades here. But this is giving me that little bit of like dewy glowiness back to the skin that I really, really love. So far so good. I really like that so far. It still feels sticky on my hand. I'm going to give it a second to dry down and we'll see what it does. I may have to set it, especially if I want to go in and test this out. While I'm waiting for this to dry, let's go back into our Pat McGrath palette. And I think I'm just going to run the navy underneath, or do I want to do the pink? Let's do the pink. We're going to go back into the pink. And then I'm feeling like I need something for the inner corner, but I don't know with this look if any of these are really light enough for that. I almost wish it was like an icy shade. I think I'm going to try this one and just see what it looks like. Whoa, that looks great. Wow. Okay, I'm definitely much more of a fan. Just layout, color story, the way that it's working and blending out. I'm much more of a fan of this particular palette than I was the holiday palette from last year. And then I'm going to run this right under the brow bone as well. Yeah, I like this way, way better than I anticipated. Of course, I will link everything down below, but much more impressed than I thought I would be, for sure. All right, now let's feel. Yeah, it's still tacky. That part I don't like. So I am gonna set it just lightly with my Kosas powder. And I always go in when I say like a very light dusting because my skin is incredibly dry. I mean like humongous fluffy brush, tapping in, tapping off any excess, and I'm literally just tapping it on the skin. And I only put powder where I need the powder at. So for right now, I'm literally putting it there and I'll put a touch up here. So you can see the difference. This is kind of mattified and this is kind of looking very glowy and very dewy. The dewy part I wouldn't mind, but it has a tackiness to it, a stickiness to it that I do not like. Like I'm not a fan of like skin glosses and things like that, or like, you know, tacky eyeglosses. No, it's a no from me, dog. Okay, the shade I love, and I think I will use it still because even when I set it, I really love the shade of it. Now I want to see what the Benefit looks like on top. This is the shade Terra. And it says, down to earth, sweep this golden brick red blush on the cheeks for warm, earthy color and a light shimmer finish. I did get this a little bit deeper than kind of what I would need for right now, solely because obviously we're heading into spring and summer. But this is it's a me shade. It is a Riri shade. I'm going to go in with my Judy brush from the crayon case, and I'm very lightly going to go in. I also note that I always start, anytime I'm testing a new blush or bronzer, I always start at my hairline first. And thank goodness I did. Whoa, that packs a punch, but holy crap, is it beautiful. I start here. That way, if it is a little bit too deep, too pigmented, something like that, by the time, you know, I put my hair down and blend the rest of my, you know, by the time I lay my hair down, you don't ever see that. And then with kind of whatever's left residually on the brush, I will take across to the rest of the complexion. Oh man. So definitely a little deep right now. I look like I got sunburnt, but in the spring and summer months, or if you do have medium or tan skin, oh my gosh. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, definitely a little too deep right now, but that's okay. I'm glad I did get this shade. But that is a really good rule of thumb. If you're kind of unsure, and if it's going to become patchy or muddy or anything like that, you're going to see it from right here. You're going to know and be like, oh, okay, let me correct that. So I'm going in again, very, very light-handed. Oh my gosh. I love this color. I look a little crazy right now, but that's all right. And if you find that you've gotten something that is sticking, it's patchy, it's a little bit too warm, too deep, etc., go back in with that powder brush. Also go back in with your foundation brush and lightly sweep around the edges, and that will also tone it down for you. I'm also not testing out any kind of new, any new concealer, just because honestly I have my top 3. They're the ones that I love and I don't use them very frequently, so I don't want to invest in something that I know I'm not going to use very often. Next up, I want to test out the Tartlette Tubing Mascara. I just got a little mini. I am going to curl my lashes really quick. Let's come back and test this out, and then we're going to get into some lip products, and we're done, you guys. Look, we're in the home stretch, okay? Thank you for your patience. I'll BRB. All right, there's one coat. I feel like it's really nice overall. It's giving a little bit of, it's giving some length, it's giving some lift. Definitely looks nice. It is a drier formula, which I prefer. I don't necessarily like this wand. Unlike the Maybelline Sky High, this one's a lot more firm and it's a lot harder. Which that part of it's not my favorite. It does seem very, very intense and very black though. And I just got it everywhere. That's okay. If you ever make a flub with mascara, just don't touch it. Let it completely dry and then you can go zhuzh it. I'm going to do like another little half a coat just on the ends to see if we can build this up a little. I feel like we can. I feel like it's definitely buildable. Okay, other than the wand being a little bit kind of sharp and kind of hard and rough, I like it. I like it overall. Alright, yeah, I like that. I think I'll continue to use it. I will definitely update you guys. As long as it's long lasting and, you know, longevity is there, then great. Let's wipe this off and we're going to go into our Sephora Favorites Perfect Pout Lip Set. And I love getting these. I think it is a great and affordable way to test out, you know, kind of more higher end or luxe brands. So let's get everything out. I'm so excited. All right, we have a Laneige Lip Treatment Balm. I've tried the Laneige Overnight Lip Treatments. Really love those. I've used those for years. We have the Charlotte Tilbury Hyaluronic Happy Kiss Lipstick Balm in Pillow Talk. I think the packaging is so beautiful. Okay, it's a click up, so I'm assuming it does not click down, so we're not gonna do a whole lot. We also have the Clinique. I actually decluttered one of these and then it became really popular again. It's the Almost Lipstick in Black Honey. So along the lines of like the Charlotte Tilbury as far as it being more like a balm. Then we have a mini NARS the Mini Afterglow Lip Balm in Laguna. Oh, that's so pretty. Ooh, okay. Excited. And then we also have one of the brand new Rare Beauty Kind Words Matte Lip Liners. This is in the shade Fun. So let me get everything swatched out for you. All right, there's our liner. There's the NARS Balm, the Clinique, and the Charlotte Tilbury. The NARS and the Clinique are quite sheer and almost feel more of kind of a thicker lip oil, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury one actually has a little bit more opacity to it. So I think I'm going to pair the Charlotte Tilbury with the liner. That way we can test out the liner as well. All right, I like that. I really do like that. It does twist up and you can twist it down. And then it also has the sharpener on the back. I really like this. I think it definitely does not match our look, but that's okay. We're going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury, and yes, it does not click back, so click up just enough to use. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, pay attention to this by itself and that by itself. The texture is nice. It has some grip to it, meaning it's going to have a little bit of hold to it, but it doesn't feel sticky or tacky. Again, that is not my vibe. If it is sticky, it is not going on my lips. Okay, honey? I love the combination together. I would definitely pair it, obviously, with something different on the eyes. I like the level of opacity. I like the little bit of kind of a sheen that it gives. Yo, I feel like today's first impressions overall was an absolute win. I don't feel like I disliked anything at all. The only thing is this with the Tarte, I felt like, you know, Cloud would be light as air, which it is very, very light, but I didn't anticipate it being a little bit more matte. I don't mind that. I don't mind something that's a little bit more matte for the spring and summertime. I love it. The contour stick, I really, really love. The primer, really nice. It's very, very light in texture. If you're looking for something, obviously, with like some coverage and some opacity, this ain't it. And when you first put it on, it kind of has that really like nice silicone-y slip to it, but then it sets down. It almost feels just like a powder. That's the best way that I can describe it. It kind of sets down like a baby powder type of It almost sets down like a baby powder type of texture. The mascara I really like. We'll see how it wears throughout the day. The eyeshadows, same thing. I would definitely leave a pinned comment and let you guys know. I am far more impressed with this palette than I was with previous palettes from her as far as like holiday launches, holiday releases. I feel like everything blended well. I made a really beautiful look with it. Yeah, I like everything overall. This was definitely a little deep, but going into spring and summer months, I think I'm going to absolutely love it. This product right here, I'm going to say I would most likely wear it as a lip stain and just kind of like, I would most likely wear it as a lip stain, or I would always have to set it down. And that's not my favorite. I don't like to have to set something down. If you don't mind that, kind of having just a little bit of like a stick still, you know, it doesn't set down all the way, then I think you'd really love it. The shade I really love, and I'm excited to try it on the lips. The little kit, obviously, I've used this before. I really like it. Is it anything to write home about? No. This I really like. I like the level of opacity that it has. I like the shine and stuff like that. It feels like it's going to have some grip and have a little bit of longevity. The liner I really, really like. I like the shade of it. And surprisingly, for as creamy as it is, I feel like it laid down well. It wasn't so creamy that like it was breaking off or clumping up on the lips or anything like that. I feel like it's going to have a little bit of longevity to it. Yeah, overall, I feel like we had a win. Comment down below and let me know if you've tested any of these products. Are you looking forward to testing any of these products? I love you, beauties. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties. To say it is a universal shade. Get your shit together, Teresa.